Throughout history, colossal and terrifying creatures have roamed the earth. From towering apes to titanic sharks, these long-extinct beasts send shivers down our spines. While famous dinosaurs like T-Rex get all the glory, equally frightening animals prowled land, sea, and sky. Let's uncover 10 of the biggest, deadliest, and scariest extinct creatures ever evolved. Gigantopithecus. The towering Gigantopithecus loomed like a primitive nightmare in the misty bamboo forests of ancient China, India, and Vietnam. This behemoth ape grew over 10 feet tall and weighed an intimidating 1,200 pounds. Its bulging muscles and immense size gave it the power to uproot trees in search of tasty bamboo shoots. Despite being an herbivore, it possessed extraordinary strength that could have easily crushed a human or large predator that strayed too close. We can envision our primitive ancestors gazing upwards in abject horror as Gigantopithecus families foraged overhead. The adults effortlessly tearing down entire bamboo stalks for their young. Early humans crossing paths with this lumbering beast while out hunting would be extremely wary, as it could kill with a single swipe of its tree trunk-like arms. Thankfully, overhunting and climate changes likely drove Gigantopithecus to extinction around 300,000 years ago before it entered myth as a feared forest monster. 3-foot-long scorpions. The steamy coal swamps of the Carboniferous period 300 million years ago spawned all manner of monster bugs. The most terrifying were scorpions that grew over 3 feet long. These armored arthropods were much like today's scorpions, except exponentially bigger with enlarged venomous stingers to match. A painful sting likely carried enough neurotoxin to instantly paralyze early amphibians and small mammal ancestors, unlucky enough to cross them. The skies were equally nightmarish, filled with 2-foot-wide dragonflies resembling dive-bombing pterodactyls. Below on the forest floor, early millipedes over 9 feet long fed on decaying plant debris. While not predatory themselves, can you imagine one rearing up, pedipalps clicking as its 1,000 tiny legs rustle? Enough to give our rodent-sized ancestors screaming nightmares. What a nightmare world where even insects loom large and deadly, giant crocodiles. In South America's steamy jungles and swamps, an even greater monster lurked, the staggering Purosaurus caiman, the largest crocodilian ever evolved. This apex ambush predator grew over 40 feet long and weighed upwards of 10 tons, the size of a city bus and heavier than African bull elephants. It shared tropical rivers and lakes with an equally frightening mix of giant ground sloths, car-sized turtles, and saber-toothed big cats. Despite their own bulky armor and wicked teeth, Purosaurus's ivory banana-sized teeth and bone-crushing bite force cemented its place at the top of the food chain. It was even known to challenge the region's infamous Gigantopithecus for territory rights. Large dinosaurs weren't immune either. Scientists have found tyrannosaur and sauropod bones bearing Purosaurus bite marks. Falling victim to this mega-croc's jaws meant near-certain death by dismemberment or drowning. Quetzalcoatlus. Soaring through prehistoric skies on 50-foot wings, Quetzalcoatlus ruled the air as the pterosaur equivalent of dragons. As tall as giraffes when wading the swamps, they scanned the land below with vulture-like heads and toothless beaks alert for signs of life. Spotting a young horned dinosaur or vulnerable nest, these gangly flyers would plunge from tremendous heights, taloned limbs outstretched to snatch prey. Their spindly bodies and oversized wings made them better gliders than flyers, often needing a running start across open ground. Most hunting was done on foot, their keen eyes and towering height letting them spot nesting colonies and small mammals to stuff whole into their pelican-like throat pouch. For millions of years, Quetzalcoatlus dominated the late Cretaceous skies before vanishing into legend after the age of dinosaurs ended. Megalodon. Megalodon sharks cruised balmy shallows when the first human ancestors took to water. Growing over 60 feet long with jaws large enough to engulf a killer whale whole, it was the perfect aquatic predator. Its bite packed enough power to sever a T-Rex head in a single thunderous crunch. Unlike the lumbering sea creatures it hunted, Megalodon swam with tremendous speed thanks to its streamlined shape and mighty tail fluke. It migrated across oceans in search of blubbery whales, giant sea turtles, and schools of fish numbering in the tons. Early humans surely spotted this leviathan gliding past their canoes, thanking the stars as its crescent tail vanished into the gloom. What became of this living fossil remains unknown. Perhaps climate shifts or disappearing food sources like whales did it in, but legends tell of it still lurking in the Mariana Trench's midnight zone, far from man's reach or 4K video cameras. Gorgonops. Before the age of legendary dinosaurs, a demonic predator named Gorgonops stalked Earth's supercontinent Pangaea 250 million years ago. Growing over 13 feet long, this mammal precursor dominated thanks to tremendous speed and agility, which let it run down creatures twice its size. But the Gorgonops' most fearsome features were its curved 8-inch saber canines that jutted well past its lower jaw like ivory daggers. These stake knife-sized teeth are sliced through muscle, tendon, and bone with ease. Behind its fangs lurked ridged cheek teeth ideal for gripping flesh, while an inward-sloping jaw enabled it to deliver a killing bite by achieving perfect shear. This grotesque and blood-soaked combination rendered Gorgonops the apex ambush hunter of its era. Slender yet muscular, it could sprint 45 miles per hour in pursuit of prey, but retained enough strength to drag kills twice its mass back to dens. And if cornered, a sweeping neck slash of its saber fangs made even the hardiest pursuer reconsider. For 30 million years, Gorgonops embodied the epitome of predation. Thankfully for fragile mammals and future humans, its kind retreated into extinction before leaving Africa's steamy rainforests. Never before or since has a carnivore fused speed, agility, and weaponry so seamlessly and terrifyingly. Terror birds. A formidable feathered predator soon took the Gorgonops' place. The towering terror bird. These carnivorous giants stood 10 feet tall on thick legs built for high-speed running, making escape nearly impossible. Terror birds burst onto the evolutionary scene 60 million years ago, quickly dominating South America as apex hunters. Their signature weapon was the axe-like beak, which could sever spines and skulls with a single thunderous downward blow. Terror birds continued their bloody reign across North America, before pack-hunting dinosaur species terminated their dynasty 2.5 million years ago. Titanoboa. The length of a semi-truck with the weight of a wrecking ball Titanoboa is the stuff of primal nightmares. As the largest snake species to ever slither the earth, this prehistoric serpent grew over 50 feet long and exceeded a crushing ton. Titanoboa would launch surprise attacks from the murky depths of South American rivers and swamps, wrapping around crocodilians and dinosaurs until they suffocated in its crushing embrace. It then employed its flexible jaws to swallow prey whole, no matter how bulky. Titanoboa lurked near watering holes to snatch desperate creatures seeking to cool off. We should thank our lucky stars. Its 60 million year reign ended long before early humans left the trees and walked the Americas. Arthropleura. Among the steaming coal swamps of the Carboniferous crawled Arthropleura, millipedes on steroids reaching over 9 feet long. These numerous-legged beasts meandered through soggy fern forests, munching on decaying plant debris with side-mounted mouths. They were peaceful yet horrifying, able to rear up higher than a human when disturbed. Picture hearing dry leaves rustle, only to see an Arthropleura undulate its spiny, armored body, antennae twitching as it senses danger. Those unlucky souls who wandered too close were greeted by a rearing giant bug from the primordial past, its armor-plated shell impervious to any weapons they possessed. If ancient insects inspire modern phobias, Arthropleura started it all. Climate transformations beginning 300 million years ago increasingly dried out the coal age swamps that Arthropleura haunted. No longer immersed in near-tropical environments, these giant bugs retreated poleward to cling to shrinking wetland habitats. But the last known species perished by the late Permian period, ending a 100 million year reign. Their armored shells render them immortal in stone, a reminder of forgotten eras when bugs grew big enough to rival mammals as kings of the forests. Mosasaurus. Of all sea-going apex predators, none surpassed the mighty Mosasaurus' sheer primordial terror. These aquatic lizards swam the world's oceans for over 60 million years, attaining lengths rivaling modern humpback whales. But unlike gentle giants, they possessed elongated, industrial vice-like jaws that gripped prey with bone-crushing forces that exceeded today's Nile crocodiles. Even heavily armed marine reptiles avoided confrontation whenever possible, for Mosasaurus's cavernous maws housed rows of deadly fangs delivering ragged, gaping wounds. They dominated seas and pursued top-tier killers rather than lumbering giants. We have only their smaller Komodo dragon cousins still stalking waterways as reminders of Mosasaurus' ancient aquatic reign. For they fill our imagination with what it must have been like to sail shallow seas and gaze upon a rapidly approaching Mosasaurus, its sleek hydrodynamic body effortlessly gliding through the waves, muscles rippling under scaled skin as its fanged snout breaches the water. A blast of fouled air from nostrils slits heralds doom for any slow-swimming creature nearby, before the Mosasaurus dives once again into the depths. Truly monster legends start here. We should consider ourselves fortunate these demonic beasts no longer walk the earth. From towering apes and megabugs to serpentine giants and demonic killers, these extinct creatures were the stuff of primal nightmares. They ruled land, sea, and sky for hundreds of millions of years before vanishing into prehistory through climate shifts, competition, and overhunting. Never before or since have such massive land and marine predators existed alongside each other. So next time you complain about bugs or snakes being scary, remember, it used to be much, much worse. And that's all for today. We hope you liked the video as we tried to do something different this time. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future updates.